Welcome everyone to our February VidaLive. We are so glad that you guys have joined us from all over North America. Some people from Guatemala have joined in, and we're just really excited to get to hear about another part of our ministry today. So this month we are highlighting VIDA School of Discipleship, and we are joined today by Les Peters, who is our founder. We're joined by Ruth, who is one of our VIDA School of Discipleship lead team members, as well as two of our students. And we're going to just hear about what's going on in Guatemala, what's going on through this new program, and how God is working in it. So VidaLive, again, is just a chance to get to highlight different areas of our ministry and what's going on in Guatemala. At the end of this, there'll be a chance for you guys to ask some questions to our participants, and it's going to be a great event. So thank you again for joining, and I'll pass it off to Les, who is going to be running our interview today.
Thank you for joining us. I'm really excited about today's VIDA Live for a whole bunch of reasons. One, this is, as you've said, Kristen, our newest program and our newest stepping out in ministry here in Guatemala. And I'm so grateful to the lead team and all the work they've done. And I'm also excited because the questions that I'm going to ask here, I'm excited about hearing the answers. I just got back from Canada, and I just had a chance to chat with these two young ladies for a few moments at a time, and I'm looking forward to hearing what the Lord has been doing over the last month in their lives and through them. But before we get to that, if you don't know about the VIDA School of Discipleship, I'm going to ask my daughter, Ruth Ann, if she would just tell us a little bit. Ruth, can you tell us what the VIDA School of Discipleship is and how it came to be, how long you've been planning this, how much prayer has gone into this? Tell us about the VIDA School of Discipleship.
Hi, everybody. So we have been planning this and praying for this. Probably it's been a part of the Impact Ministries vision for a really long time. But about November 2020, we began planning and having meetings and praying and just asking the Lord to direct us what He wants and already start touching the hearts of the people that He wanted to bring for our first class. So this is the fruit of that prayer right here. But our vision, many people who come down on teams and they want to stay longer. They feel like God is speaking to them and they want to know Him more. And getting out of your country and out of your comfort zone is often like a really quick place that the Lord is able to speak to you more clearly oftentimes because you're away from all your regular distractions. And so our vision, our desire is for people to grow in their intimacy with the Lord, to love Him more, to be able to hear His voice, and to love His church more, to love, to serve, and to love the lost, and to have a perspective of His kingdom that is bigger than just what we often grow up with, and to see more of the world and how other people live as well. So that's our desire. And so we've been praying and we've been planning and
Wow. And to my left here, Robin and Caitlin, they have both come down on short-term missions teams. So I've had the joy of spending some time together with you back then when you were a little bit younger. And here you are for a longer term, a 3-month term. Robin, could you just tell us why you chose the VIDA School of Discipleship and how it is you got to be here?
Well, I was at Bible school, and we had a missions conference. I wasn't thinking about missions or anything like that, just enjoying the conference. And then Guatemala popped into my head and didn't leave for a very long time. And I tried to ignore it, and it didn't work. And then I decided to find out what was going on. And they said there was this new opportunity called VIDA School of Discipleship, and that I should apply. So I did, not thinking that I would get in because, yeah. And then I did get in for the second application. And then I got it again, and I was kind of like, oh, I guess I'm going to Guatemala. Yeah.
And Caitlin, how about you?
Similar, like I'd gone on a short-term mission, as you mentioned, and it just kind of sticks with you, and the experiences and the fun and just the love, especially of the kids that you just are like just drowned in, which is amazing. So it was like in my head, but it's like, oh, a dream. And then I was looking through my emails and there was this new opportunity, and I usually don't check my emails all too often. And so it felt like a God thing to, at that moment when I was in a headspace, to be wanting and willing for opportunity to seek God, but also to explore a bit more. So then, yeah, process of applications and hoping and waiting, but ended up ending well. So,
Wow.
yeah.
Wow. And because I've been in Canada, I haven't been here watching what you're doing. Robin, tell us what you've been doing while you're here.
We've been doing a lot.
Have you been
It feels
busy?
like- yeah.
Yeah, does it feel like it's a month that's gone by?
No, it doesn't
No?
feel like that.
Okay,
It feels
wow.
so much shorter, but yet so much longer.
So what have you been doing?
We've been working up at the baby house where there's like kids from like she's 2 months old to like 6 years old, and just helping out, hanging out with them, sharing lots of love, and it's a really good time. And then Spanish classes and Bible classes and teaching English on Saturdays, and it's amazing to see the kids' progress. And then now we switched up our schedules, so now we're working at VIDA for 3 days during the week, and we also get to spend 1 day at the baby house.
And so for people who don't know, what is Vida Nueva? What is that?
VIDA is the sister school to Regina Christian School in Saskatchewan. And my sponsor kid goes there, so it's really exciting to be able to help out at that small school in a very rural community.
Yeah, wow. And as you mentioned, that's from Regina Christian School that's been supporting that. Are you able to hear us okay? Is the sound okay? Or do we need to speak up a bit? We're okay? Okay, sound is good. All right, that's good. You just have a very nice soft voice. I wanted to be sure people heard what you're saying. Caitlin, anything to add about what you're doing? Or maybe you can share a highlight.
Yeah, so I think just a lot of what we've been doing has just been living in community with the people here. Obviously, the 3 of us living on the compound here, we get to be in a community, but the greater community of the church that we go to, of the baby home, of the school now, it's just really amazing to be able to see people welcome us in. And that's definitely my highlight, is just living in community with the people here and seeing how you guys, the missionaries who've come down here, live. And it's pretty normal. Like, you eat dinner and you eat breakfast and just things like that.
It's normal.
It's normal.
Yeah.
Amazing and exciting, but it feels like normal and in a good way. And so that's definitely been a highlight, is just living in community and seeing the love that the Guatemalan people have, but also that, yeah, whoever's down here has.
Wow. And Robin, how about you? Has there been a highlight for you that just jumps out?
The willingness of people here to accept us who we are, as we are. Not that, I mean, we stand out just because we're white, but it's just their willingness to, you know, okay, that's who we are. So.
Yeah, the Guatemalan people, they just embrace you, don't they?
Yeah.
It's a very warm culture. And so you just land and you just feel like you've been embraced, especially the Christian people. Has there been any surprises for you, Caitlin?
Yeah, so I went to Christian school, grew up in the church, and it was a wonderful, and I am so thankful because I have a good base of what I know and what I believe. But it surprised me that coming here, I had so much more to learn, but I also had so much more of God to know. And so just the yearning and the desire that has stirred up in me to continue to figure out who God is and like what He's doing in my life, that really surprised me. I don't know if I was expecting it. A good surprise, but definitely a surprise in itself.
Wow. And I think, Ruth, that's what we've been praying for, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's what we've been wanting more than, pardon me, it chokes me up a little bit. That's what we've been wanting more than anything else, that people would just fall in love with the Lord in a new way. And part of falling in love with the Lord is realizing, wow, I need to be closer. And that's exactly what you're saying. What about a surprise for you, Robin?
Well, it's pretty surprising that when I got here, I felt like I was at home.
Wow. Cool.
Yeah, it's like as soon as I got off the plane.
Wow. So some of the memories that you had from your short-term missions trip
Yeah.
just kind of kicked in
Mhm.
and you felt like you were home.
Yeah, it's like the smell that right when you get off the airplane. It's like, oh, Guatemala.
And those of you who have not been here, we invite you, now that the restrictions are coming down a little bit, but there is, after you've been away from Guatemala, I don't smell it anymore, but but when I come back after being away for a couple months, I get off the plane and I can smell a little
You
bit of smoke.
open the door on the plane and you're like, oh, yeah.
Oh, yes, this is home for us,
Yeah.
yeah, so it's a returning to a memory, that's wonderful. What are you most excited for when you think about the next 2 months or beyond? What excites you? Who wants to go first?
Everything. The food, the kids, the culture, the development of the kids, like in English club, like they come up to us and say hello sometimes. And it's really pretty cool.
Cool.
Yeah, just again, everything is a good way to put it because there's so much that we are excited, like we know that's gonna happen, like being in the schools and like English club. But there's also a lot of unknowns for us, and that's exciting too because it's like what's around the next corner, and it will be something amazing. I'm really excited to get deeper into the relationships at the school that we just started working at. I think there's a lot of wonderful kids there, but also the wisdom and the love and the godliness of the teachers, I think will be really inspiring, but also good for us to learn from and to draw from. So I'm definitely excited to spend time in the schools.
Now, just yesterday, I saw a picture of you being out on a fairly long walk
Yes.
to one of the homes of the kids. If there's one thing that stands out in that experience of going to a child's home, was it one of your sponsors or no? No,
It was
just a kid from the school.
there were 5 kids in that family that go to VIDA.
5 kids in that family. Okay, so one thing, I mean,
How long
to
did it
me,
take
that
to get
stands
there?
out.
40 minutes uphill.
Yeah.
Okay,
Up mountain.
okay. So is there one thing that stands out in your mind about that visit?
Yeah. It was very foggy on the way up, but once we like stepped into their home, it was like pretty clear. You could see as far as your eyes could see. And it's so different from home. So
Coming from Regina. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, once you're up the mountain, yeah, you're in a
Yeah.
different world. Exactly. I grew up in the prairies too, so I know how that is. What stands out in your mind about that?
I think me and Robin were talking either on the way up or down, tired and definitely not used to it. We're like, these kids walk in every single day. And I was just like, coming on the short-term trips, you know that you're told that they walk from a long distance, but actually walking it. And then also the trust that the mom has that those kids, I don't know if she walks with her or not, but like she's willing to walk with those kids to school every day. And like, it's such an exciting thing to see that education is important to that family. And the walk there is not like a boundary. It's a walk that you go to school, and that's something you get to do because school is good. So,
Wow.
yeah.
and like their willingness and want to learn. Like,
Yeah.
those kids are there almost all the time, on time.
Wow. Wow. So if I were to ask you where you have sensed God the most in your last month here, or where you have seen his power being displayed or released, or where he's spoken to you in a most impressing way, what would be, I mean, you probably can list a number of things, but maybe you can just share one with the people who are listening here so they can just get a little glimpse of what the Lord is doing in your hearts.
Yeah. Yeah, so probably the biggest one, and I've mentioned this, something that surprised me is just the God time, and it's just been really good. Sorry, I lost my train of thought there. What was the question?
When is a moment you've
Ah,
sensed God?
yes, okay, sorry.
There we go.
But yeah, so just coming from Canada, it's busy and a little stressful, and jobs and school. I graduated 2 years ago and still not in university. So figuring out where I want to, or I need to go, or where God's leading me. But being here, I've had a peace that kind of just has covered me, and saying it's like patience, it's gonna take time. You don't need to have any control over the moment right now, and you can just kind of wait in me. And so that's been something very comforting, but also very, very helpful for my time here, because then I'm not stressing about what happens when I get home, but I also can like have trust in God that it's gonna be okay when I get home and figure out whatever life looks like afterwards.
Because you guys are at a place where you're making a lot of big
Yeah,
decisions.
lots of big
And
decisions.
important decisions that will
Mhm.
affect the rest of your life, and for you to have that sense,
Yeah.
okay, I can just take my time doing that, that's
Yeah.
wonderful.
Yeah.
Robin, how about you? A moment when you sensed the presence of the Lord or heard him speaking or saw him?
Mine was a little bit back before we got here.
Okay, that's fine.
I think God specifically orchestrated me not going to Bible school for a semester and starting it halfway through the year, because I started Bible school January 2021 and I finished December 2021. So there was an opportunity for me to come in the space where I would have been going to school if I had gone the proper route.
Wow. So the Lord opened up that door
Yeah.
for you. Okay, wow. Okay, one last question. If somebody who is watching this either now or in YouTube in the future was thinking of whether or not they should come into a program like this, what would you say to them?
Yeah, yeah.
I'd say I've heard before it's like, oh, but in 3 months, like I could be, if I had started a program 2 years ago, I could be 2 years into my program or whatever. Or like, oh, I don't want to be, I'm now almost 20, I don't want to be 20 and starting school or something like that. It's like, you're always going to be turning the next year older. So do things that you love and are excited about that can give you opportunities. God puts us into places and situations that might not like be for our future career. Who knows wherever this is going to lead us, but I know and I can trust that whatever experience, whatever we learn from this 3 months and the other 9 months is going to work pretty big ways into whatever career, whatever life that I know I have, that I know Robin has, and even Brittany, who is our house leader, the life she leads as well.
Brittany's behind the cameras over here. Yes. Yeah, she's great. Well, and I think that's just really an important point too, isn't it? Because that's part of our prayer for this program, that it would just put some good cement foundations under what comes next. And some people are hurrying on to the next step. And these foundations are helpful. Anything that you would want to say? I heard you say, just do it. But we could make a slogan out of that. I think it's already taken. Yeah.
I'd say definitely pray about it a lot. And if it is meant to happen, God will open the doors for it to be. And there's definitely a lot to experience here and a lot that will shape you and grow you for your future. And it's a great opportunity.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, I love being where the Lord is working. And those of you who are watching, I hope you sense it, even though it's over a transmission like this, the Lord is working, and that's exciting. So, Kristen, I'll pass it back to you. Maybe you have a couple questions, or I'm not sure what's next on the program.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much to you, both of you guys, to Robin and Caitlin. It's been so fun to be able to kind of watch you guys throughout this past month and see photos coming in and stuff. And just sounds like there's so much excitement going on down there. So what's going to happen now is we're actually going to have a Q&A, an opportunity for you guys to ask questions who are here on the call. So if you have any questions, if there's anything that you want to ask, you can write it in the chat below, and then I'll read those out. So I know there was a couple people who couldn't make this time, but they did send in a couple questions. So I'll start with one, and then again, if you have any questions, feel free to write them in the chat. But there was a question, and this probably is for Ruth or Les, but tell me who the target audience is for VIDA School of Discipleship. Is there an age range for it? Oh, I think you guys are muted.
Yeah.
There we go.
Okay. No, we're looking 18 years and older, probably out of high school, but mostly we're thinking probably people from teens will come, but mostly anybody who really wants to grow their relationship with God and just wants to set aside a certain amount of time to grow more intimate with Him.
And I think we were kind of expecting young people like you would be the ones who would show the most interest in this, and yet in some of my communication I've had in Canada, I've had people in their mid-20s and late 20s
I had
expressing
somebody
interest.
retired ask me about it too, so.
There you go.
Yeah.
So, and so we're not going to be discriminatory by age, are we?
No.
No, okay, there we go.
Awesome. So we have a question here from James. Where is this going to lead you to?
Who's the question for?
Who's the question for, James? Okay,
James, who's the question for? You can write it in the chat.
I guess the reason I'm asking is, are we talking about the two girls where it's going to lead them to?
Yeah.
Or where is this leading to in the ministry?
Yeah, so for the two girls.
Okay, for the two girls. Okay, good. You're on the spot.
Yeah, the short and easy answer would be I have no idea. But for the past 2 years, I've been working with my church with youth ministry, or year and a half. And so I've been graciously given the time off. I ended up resigning, it was good because this is an amazing opportunity. But I definitely see God leading me somewhere into working with church, whatever that looks like, whether it's vocationally or just as a volunteer. But I'm really excited to be able to use the knowledge and the love that I gain here and the experiences I gain here towards like just sharing it with my church and with like the kids that I know and stuff like that.
Wow, good.
Yeah.
I have no clue. That's fair. Yeah, there's a lot of prayer about it right now. But yeah.
And maybe that's a good thing. I'm glad you said that, because I think there are a lot of young people who don't know exactly what the next steps are. And this is probably a good place to be while you're waiting for some answers. Would you say? Okay, good
Awesome.
Good answer. Good answer.
So we have a question here that says, will we get to hear from the house leader? So if she would like to, maybe Brittany can come on and share kind of what
Come on
a
over
highlight.
here. She's laughing.
You want us to hear?
Come on, you take my spot. Go ahead. There we are.
There we go.
There. So this is Brittany, and she is our house leader. And Brittany, why don't you share what a highlight for you has been?
I wasn't prepared for this, so a highlight has just been just not knowing what to expect here, but I have just listened to the Holy Spirit, and he's just like guided, and it's like, hey, do this, and I don't know why I'm doing it, but then I do it, and then everything else lines up into place, and it's like, that's why I did it. So yeah, just seeing God is orchestrating this, even though we don't know a lot of what's going to happen next. So
Awesome. And has anything surprised you?
I think just the different experiences. We had a power outage and different things where we just had to react, and just just God keeping us safe, and just his protection has been really cool.
Awesome. So maybe you can explain to kind of what your role is, or as house leader, kind of what that looks like.
So as host leader, I'm here. I am helping, I'm doing Spanish classes. I'm facilitating some Bible school courses. I'm helping us just live in community, providing some direction there. And then, so it's 3 months down here, and then it's 9 months back in Canada. So I'll be following up on a weekly basis with the girls, and reminding them of different skills that we've learned in this time in Guatemala, and trying to help them implement it back in Canada as well. So it doesn't just stop growing here.
Awesome. So a question here just about what Bible classes are you guys studying right now?
So we're doing classes with Eston College online. So it's with one of the Bible colleges in Saskatchewan, and it's online. So we took an Intimacy with God course. We're starting Discerning and Stewarding Your Call course, and there's a couple more lined up as well.
Awesome. Okay, maybe I'll ask this last question and we'll kind of conclude the recorded portion of this VIDA Live. But for everyone who has tuned on with us right now, please feel free to stay on after the recorded is over. We'll let you guys unmute yourself so you'll have a chance to actually ask the questions. And that's just a great time. Again, we stay on for about 20 more minutes. So if you have time, please stick around. And for everyone else, just thank you for joining and thank you for coming. So I'll end with this question. And James wants to know who's cooking and how is the food?
We're all cooking. This is delicious. 4 times a week we get to go to Ruth's house, and her and Walter cook for us, and like it's gonna be hard going home for that reason. Not for lots of other reasons, obviously, but they are amazing cooks, and they welcome us into their home, but just like the food here is amazing. And we cook 2 days a week or so, 3, depending on what it looks like. And that's just groceries from the store, and we throw things together, and that's also a good fun time just for us to get to know each other, and also troubleshoot some food and stuff like that.
Awesome.
Baby house.
Oh, yeah, we get fed lunches, or for the past month, we were fed lunches at the baby house, and so that was really amazing. The cook there is really good, and yeah. I steal her recipe book, but I don't think she has one. Yeah, makes it hard. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, again, just want to say thank you to you guys, you 4 on the screen right now, Brittany, Caitlin, Robin, and Ruth, just for joining, and Les as well. Just so everyone knows who is joining us, we do these VIDA Lives once a month, and we do them on the 17th of every month. So our next one is March 17th, and we are going to be highlighting agriculture, and we're going to be hearing kind of what's going on in that area of the ministry. So it's going to be at 5 o'clock Guatemala time. Just a note, there is a time change coming up. So 5 o'clock Guatemala time in March is going to be 4 p.m. for West Coast. It'll be 8 p.m. for East Coast, and then kind of all in between. So make sure you just stay connected and check that out. March 17th, we'll be focusing on agriculture. And for now, just again, want to say thank you so much. And if you're joining us, please stick around. We'll let you guys unmute yourselves. So thank you for joining.